welcome to February. It's an exciting time for me because I have so many notes about you guys. I've taken notes from your assignments. The masterclass call was really fun. I learned a lot about you guys, and you guys have given me loads of feedback about the class. So I hear you. I hear that you enjoyed it and that you learned a lot from it. And I'm so happy to just be able to interact with you guys via email in regards to the masterclass call. So there's a few housekeeping things I'm going to get out of the way. First, I want to say that the first month we really focused on music, and we went from songwriting to your sound and identifying a genre and niche, etc. We're going to keep that subject going, but now that'll be more private between me and you through email, through your private coaching call with conversation just you and I. We'll be talking more about your music. This month I encourage you to get a song together if you don't have one already and send it to me. I want you to send me a song so that we can begin to analyze your sound, your voice, etc. And I can sort of give you some feedback on my thoughts around your sound and your voice. Listen, you should know by now that it's not a judgmental space or experience here. It's all about sort of expressing yourself and sort of figuring out where to put who you really are. Get your songs over to me one at a time. And the reason I say one at a time is because I can figure a lot out just by listening to a little bit. I'm not listening to see if you are, etc., etc. I'm listening just to get a vibe and a feel, your range, etc. It's not a test. So send me one song at a time, and as I move and travel, I'll be having my headphones in and listening to you guys and giving you some feedback. Another kind of announcement is after your first free coaching call session that comes with your package, to you guys only, I'm going to start offering more coaching sessions over the phone. The reason I'm doing that is because, and I'm going to be really honest with you guys, I knew that you guys needed this, but I didn't know how much you needed it. I didn't know that we would share so much, we would become so interactive. I didn't know that you guys would open up so quickly. And so what's beginning to happen is I'm forging and forming a relationship with many of you, and the worst thing that I could do is sort of leave you hanging with things that you kind of still need some help with. So to you guys only, I'll be offering private coaching calls. You'll be able to purchase those on the website, and for you guys it'll be a complete huge discount because I don't want to break the bank. You've already enrolled in classes, so you'll get the enrollment or enrolled student discount with yours. I'll be scheduling you guys first before I schedule anybody else. So if you've got a call, say for next Monday already, and you feel like you're gonna need a call the next week or whatever, now's the time to sort of start scheduling your calls, because I know that those are going to go fast. Even for you guys in the class, I'm having to hit you back and be like, I'm sorry, that one's already taken. So let's make sure that we go ahead and schedule our coaching calls before everybody else sort of jumps in. And I also just want to say that if you don't get another coaching call during this course, I'm still here via email. Some of you go back and forth with me 2 and 3 times in a day. Some of you guys go back and forth with me 2 and 3 times in a week. And then some of you are a little less, you kind of learn on your own, absorb everything, and then give back to me, maybe once a week. And so everybody's got different learning styles, and I'm cool with that, but I just want to let you know that I am here to help and to coach you guys. So if you need more, go ahead and sign up for that before that fills up. And I'll keep you guys posted. I'll let you know when it's sort of, all right, they're almost gone, just so you guys can, keep tabs on it and know, if you need to push the button. This month, we're sort of moving out of the music space, and again, you still got me for music. We'll be going back and forth via email, but this month we're moving out of it in the lectures, and we're moving into image. I'm really excited about image because a lot of you guys have a really great grasp on where you think you want to go in that space. A lot of you guys are really fun, sort of upbeat. Your image sort of is as big as your sound, or it's sort of one can't survive without the other. And then some of you, your sound is this one thing and your image is a total other thing. So we're gonna all work together to get a grasp on all of that so that by the end of February, you really feel solid about your image, what that is, what it looks like, and how to articulate it. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll tell a quick story about my life and image for me. So you guys know when I first got started, my first single was a sort of a classic R&B sound. And by now you guys kind of know that R&B was not and still is not my first love. It's not my favorite sound. It never was. It never has been. And it probably won't ever be. But it was the first thing that I put out, If I Have My Way. That happened, I think, 10 years ago. And in order to support that sound, we put a look that made sense for that sound. That wasn't jeans and a ripped t-shirt and Chuck Taylor's kind of a sound. You know, that was a beautiful gown sweeping the floor kind of a sound, boyfriend and girlfriend in the video kind of a sound, very classic black and white, long wavy hair kind of a sound. And while I didn't dislike gowns or wavy hair, at my heart, at my core, I was a little more edgy than that, but I didn't know how binding a look was at the time. So I didn't know at the time that if you put something on, people are going to expect you to have that on every single time that they see you. So I want to sort of caution you that as we go through these image exercises, that you begin to think about what you would be comfortable being seen as for a while. Later on in the month, we'll talk about transitioning from one image to the next. I'll tell you some mistakes I've made there and what that's like. But right now, I really want you guys to think about what you would be comfortable being seen as for an extended period of time. Let's get started with these assignments. So the first thing that I'm going to ask you guys to do, and I'm going to go over to my notes a lot because I'm actually filming in Biloxi, Mississippi. I have a show tonight here, and I am at a hotel in the IP Casino. It's a beautiful, beautiful hotel. You can see this is a part of the suite that they've put us in. But I've decided to go ahead and film myself. And really quickly, the reason I did that is because I didn't want to film in bulk like I did last time. I wanted to be able to consider all of you guys' questions throughout the week and then film a little closer to when I send out your lecture and sort of give you guys some good feedback with what your guys' questions were. So here's what I want you to do for the first assignment. I want you to pick up a magazine or a couple of magazines that you would love to be featured in. I'll tell you a couple of mine. I love Fader. I love Nylon. I love Teen Vogue. I love colorful, bright, edgy magazines. That's where I'd want to be featured. So pick up a couple of magazines that you'd love to be featured in. I need you to go to 3 places. One place is a bookstore or a drugstore that has a magazine rack. The other place is going to be YouTube again, and the third place is going to be another space at YouTube. So I want you to go to the bookstore, and I want you to pick up 3 magazines that you would love to see yourself in. Then I want you to go to YouTube, and from your RHU playlist that you've been creating, I want you to find 3 music videos from each of the artists on your playlist and sort of set them aside, okay? And then the second thing I want you to take from YouTube is the same thing, 2 or 3 interviews from the artists on your RHU playlist and set them aside. This is going to be a lot of homework. This is going to take us about an hour and a half to do. You've got all 3 of those things. You've got the interview component, you've got the music video component, and you've got the magazine component. All right, you can press pause now. You can go ahead and handle that, and then we'll meet back in a sec. Hey, okay, so when you're an artist, right, you're not necessarily being filmed at the grocery store, you know, unless you're, you know, some huge pop star. You didn't see Taylor Swift at the grocery store yesterday, did you? Or you didn't see Mariah Carey out picking up a cup of coffee. And if you did, you weren't expecting much from either of them, right? People are not always expecting much from you when you're just going about your daily life. But people are expecting a lot out of you when you're in a magazine, when you're in a music video, or when you're at an interview. So that's why I chose those three things for us to begin to take a look at. Building your artist closet or your image closet is not necessarily about going shopping for 52,000 outfits and looking like an artist every single time you step out of the house. While that's honorable and kind of cool to always look nice, I want you to kind of be realistic as we move into the artist space. A lot of times when people refer to themselves as artists, it's kind of a self-esteem thing for them to make sure that they look and feel the part all of the time, and so they don't have what I would call a chill. So you got to have some balance. So we're going to start with those three places: interviews, music videos, and magazines. So in the music videos and in the interviews and magazines, I want you to take notes on the following things. What are these artists wearing, right? What trends are common amongst them? So that's going to be a strange part, right? Do all of them have black skinny jeans? Do you see a load of Chuck Taylors? Do you notice that they all have fairly small bracelets or big bracelets? Or does everybody have shades on? Is there a lot of fur? What are you seeing that's common amongst all the artists? Not just amongst one artist at a time, but amongst all of them. Again, this is coming from your RHU playlist that you've put together. So you've already noticed the commonality in music in the folks that are on your playlist. Now we're going to begin to see the commonality in image. Do they all have wavy hair? Do they all have natural hair? Do they all have blonde hair? Do they all have different colors in their hair? Find different things that are similar amongst them. Shoes, hair, and then another really big one is makeup. There are all different types of beats these days, right? There's a natural beat, there's no makeup movement, there's the Instagram baddie beat, and if you don't know what that is, go ahead and YouTube that, find out what the Instagram baddie beat is. But there's all these different types of makeup styles amongst men, amongst women, amongst all different types of artists. So what's a commonality amongst the artists that you've decided to research? Now we're going to do some sort of introspection. How do these items make you feel as a person? So what of these accessories, this makeup, this hair, these commonalities speak to you? What of these commonalities do you associate yourself with, or do you kind of feel make sense for you as a person and as an artist? And then the next part is, what about you is different? What about you does not identify or relate to that stuff? What about you is like, oh, I would never wear that, that's ridiculous, or that's really inappropriate. I don't think that's appropriate. A lot of you guys have a lot of high standards for what you think is good, bad, and appropriate and or inappropriate. Go ahead and voice those things. Write them out. Get them off your chest. It's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. Like I always say, this is your private assignment. Nobody's watching, and if you don't want to send it, you don't have to. Now I want you to go over the positives. What about these artists that you're looking at inspires you? Do you think that Rita Ora is super bold if she's on one of you guys' playlist? Or is Kalani super whimsical and you love that about her? What about these artists' image inspires you? What do you like? What makes you say, man, I wish I could do that, or I've got to do better with this, that, or the other? What about those artists do you really feel inspiration from? So some of you guys are super inspired by classic things, right? And I love that you guys do your homework on history and sort of finding your face in history. That's a big deal. I talk about that every time I speak at schools and colleges and universities. I want to caution you about sort of pulling from the past and being dated, as opposed to pulling from the past and sort of reimagining the past for today. There's a big difference. People aren't attracted to dated. They're not attracted to, say, if your shirt is simply old. They're attracted maybe to vintage, right? But there's a difference between something being vintage and something being old. When you're putting together your style and your image, and when you're thinking about where you want to go, I want you to keep in mind that you don't always make a statement by making the same statement someone else made a long time ago. So I've taken a look at some things that you guys have sent over, and while it's noble, while it comes from a good intention, you're saying this is who I am, I want you to sort of remember to think about who people are also. So you might say, okay, well, this is who I am, and this is how I want to express myself. But self-expression, right, lands on somebody. And so if you're expressing yourself to be received, then you've got to think about how you'll be received. Sometimes you express yourself with no intentions of being received. I do things all the time, sometimes in public, sometimes in private, because I needed to do it. And it's got nothing to do with anybody else, what anybody else thinks. It's not for reception. It's not to be received well. It's because I felt like it needed to be done. Sometimes you do things in that space, and that's okay. That's a little bit selfish, right? You have a right to be that. It's kind of for you. It's not for someone else. But when we're talking about things that we're putting out there for others, I want you to kind of think about how it'll be absorbed by who receives it. And if you kind of got to think twice about it and say, you know what, I really like these jeans that I just found in the attic, but I don't know if people will understand what I'm saying, then give yourself some time to sort of prove yourself or show who you are before you give them that pair of jeans from the attic. Give them some time to sort of understand who you are and what you'd mean with wearing those jeans from the attic. Because a lot of times we'll throw something out there, and if it doesn't stick, we'll get really discouraged. But a lot of times it's because we kind of didn't think about how it would affect the people who we threw it at. Okay, so I'm just putting that out there. So we took all these notes for the beginning of this assignment, and I want to sort of get to the end of the assignment. Now I want you to go into your closet. I want you to find one outfit that you would wear in a music video. I want you to find one outfit that you would wear in an interview. And then I want you to find one outfit that if you were called tomorrow to be in your favorite magazine, what would you wear? So I want you to go in your closet. You can take screenshots of it. You can dress up in it and take a picture of yourself in the mirror. But I want you to sort of put together these three outfits for me. And I want to see sort of who you think you are just by going in your closet and coming out with what best suits you based on the music that you've chosen and by the inspiration that you receive from either these artists or people that you've received inspiration from in the past. Go do that and then come back and we'll have another chat. Hey, okay, so you're back. Now, I bet a lot of you had some issues there, right? There was some stuff that you were saying, man, I really want to look like this, but my closet kind of limits me to this. And if I tie this a certain way, or if I take this in here, it'll kind of work, but it's not really the right color. Or there were some achievements and some limitations that you have when you go into your closet, right? Well, for our next assignment, which I'm not going to tell you about right now, we're going to do a really fun shopping trip. And this shopping trip is not going to cost us any money. It's going to be totally free. And we're still going to be able to express ourselves completely. So I cannot wait to see what you guys have come up with this assignment. I hope it was fun for you. I know we all as artists take everything so seriously. Everything means so much to us. But I hope you had some fun with this one. Go back and do it again if you didn't. And then show me it when you're finished. The second time. Do this over and over as many times as you have to. Before we go, I want to say that a lot of you are really getting the point. A lot of you are saying, okay, this is what I thought about myself last week, but after some thinking, some revisiting of the assignments, I think this now. And then you come back the next week and you say, man, I sure could have sworn this is where I was going with that, but now that I see this is what I think. That's the point of this coaching. The point of this is to mull through it all, to flesh it out with a little of my help and a little of your own, stopping what you're doing and figuring it out with me. You're coming to new conclusions. You're finding new ideas about yourself, and that's a good thing. So again, with your RHU playlist, if there are some songs or some artists that you want to get out of there and you want to add some new ones, that's fine. Switch that up as much as you need to. Do some assignments over. Send them back to me and say, Chris, what do you think about this? If you change something, that's all right. And you don't have to send everything back to me, but if you need some walking through it all, that's fine. Look, you've got 2 more months to take complete advantage of me in any way that you need via email and with your private coaching call. So go for it. Get all that you can out of this. You guys are learning, you guys are growing, and I'm really proud of you. I'm gonna go now. I'll see you again next week, and I cannot wait to see all of your assignments. Happy learning. Peace.